Hi, Marty here. In this video I'm going to enlighten you about protein bars, protein cookies and all other artificial meal replacements. I also want to explain the cheat day, how it works and why it might suit you. But first, just a quick recap on the main points of where you should be up to before watching this video. The plan is not to eat until you get hungry, and then you eat real food. Real food provides nourishment. Nutrients are what your body really wants, and when you stop snacking on those addictive happy foods, you find the cravings go in a day or two, and then your energy starts to pick up. I see the proof of that every day at BodyBuzz, but there can be problems. No one is a machine, and for us humans, food is an emotional thing. If we feel down, something sweet will stimulate the pleasure center of our brain, and we will feel good. It won't fix the real problem, but it gets the mind off whatever was stressing us out, for a little while anyway. We use food to medicate ourselves. In our before diet, many of us had been treating ourselves to biscuits and that sort of thing. Some of us prefer savoury things like pies and sausage rolls. But when we designed your new nutrition plan, I probably talked you into eliminating the bad foods completely out of your diet. Even though that sounds scary for a lot of people, what they find is, when they do it, it's a whole lot easier than they imagined. If you decide to slowly cut back on your junk food, it can actually make it harder. The reason is, you are still treating yourself to the addiction, but not giving yourself enough of it. So it's only a matter of time that you'll go back to your old habits, which is exactly what got you overweight in the first place. If you're in the group that can't stop junk food completely, then here are two options for you. The first option is to grab some protein cookies or protein bars from the supermarket to replace the junk food that you used to eat. They are artificially sweetened, so you can get your sweet hit without feeling guilty. At least that's what they claim. Unfortunately, they're not as low sugar as you thought. Here is a chocolate chip protein cookie that you can buy at the supermarket. It claims to be high in protein, high in fibre, wheat and gluten free, ultra low carbohydrates and no added sugar. For those of us who really need at least one sweet fix a day, these things have been really helpful. It's like, awesome, I followed my nutrition plan all day and here's my reward for being so good. I'm sort of okay with this, so long as you're aware that what you are doing is feeding your addiction, and if you keep feeding your addiction, it won't go away. One thing I'm not so okay about is the ingredients. They're full of junk. That's why I gave you a recipe so you could make your own protein cookies. So here is the ingredients of a commercial protein cookie. I'm just going to run the ingredients list in front of the camera here. So here it goes. I see some good things here like almonds and egg. Unfortunately, the protein they've used is calcium caseinate. Casein is the main protein in raw milk. In raw milk, it's a good protein. Unfortunately, the acid and heat process to remove the casein from the milk turns it into calcium caseinate, which is virtually indigestible. Your stomach can't break down all the amino acids, and some of it enters your gut undigested. It ferments in your colon, forming highly carcinogenic compounds that contribute to the growth of colon cancer. I don't even know what half the other ingredients are. I mean, what's sodium aluminium phosphate or potassium tartrate? I do know that if you eat too many of these things, they can have a laxative effect, which means your body doesn't like what you've just put in there and it wants to get rid of it fast. Also, if you eat too many protein cookies or bars, you'll gain weight, which immediately tells me you're getting more sugars than they're telling you about. As it turns out, it doesn't matter whether you buy protein cookies, Atkins bars, Hawley's low carb bars or whatever, you are being deceived about the amount of sugars in the product. So here is what they tell you on the label. 16.8 grams of protein, 14 grams of fat, and only 2.5 grams of carbohydrate. Just a reminder here, your body doesn't care whether the carbohydrates you eat are lactose, sucrose, fructose or starch. The whole lot gets turned into blood sugar anyway. Now a food scientist will know that if the protein bar is sweet and moist, you'll like it and want more of it. To get that sweetness and texture, some artificial foods have been invented. You'll find some of them listed under the dietary column. Here are three you'll find nearly all the time: maltitol, glycerol and polydextrose. Starting with maltitol, that's a sugar alcohol. It has a mild laxative effect, and apparently it's best not to consume more than 50 grams a day. It has 2.4 calories per gram. Glycerol is a sugar alcohol also. It's a common food additive that they use to bulk up the product and add texture. It can cause cramps, flatulence and even diarrhea. The same with that, you're not supposed to consume more than 50 grams per day. It has 4 calories per gram, which is the same as sugar. Polydextrose is a synthetic sugar. It doesn't occur in nature. It was invented by the pharmaceutical industry. It is used to replace the bulk and texture of low sugar snacks, because without it, they'd be dry. It has 1 calorie per gram. So now that we've discovered 3 more sugars hidden in the fibre column here, let's check out the total sugar calories. It's gone from 10 calories to 92.5. It's almost 10 times as much. So instead of getting 2.5 grams of carbs, we're actually getting the equivalent of 23 grams of carbs. No wonder they stop people losing weight. So here we have a comparison of the ingredients of a supermarket protein cookie and a homemade protein cookie. We all know what almond meal is and whey protein. And there is some sugar in here, some raw sugar and butter. But by the time you spread out that amount of sugar over 9 cookies, it still becomes a very low calorie protein cookie. Here is a breakdown of Whittaker's milk chocolate, a 25 gram serve, 2.3 grams of protein, 8.9 grams of fat, 13 grams of carbohydrates, which is just over a serve of carbohydrates. That's about half the amount of serves of carbohydrates in one large protein cookie. Another perspective we could put on here is Whittaker's milk chocolate again, 1.3 serves of carbs. Here's a Hawley's carb-less bar, but when you add in the maltitol, glycerol and polydextrose, you end up with getting close to 70 calories there, equivalent of 17 grams of carbohydrates, 1.7 serves of carbs. To get the price perspective, this big bar costs you $5 and you get 11 serves from it. That's less than 50 cents a serve. This protein bar costs $7 and it's only 1 serve. For some people, 1 or 2 squares of real chocolate can satisfy the sugar cravings. But not for me though. Give me a piece of chocolate and I'll want to eat the whole block. But that's not the only reason I avoid chocolate. In case you think that dark chocolate is better for you, think again. The amount of sugar in dark chocolate is the same as in milk chocolate. One does not have less sugar than the other. Dark chocolate simply has more cocoa. So for someone like me who is sensitive to cocoa, I'll start sneezing. If I get too much of it, my heart rhythm will get out of whack and it will start missing beats. I got really scary heart palpitations when I started drinking this sugar-free drinking chocolate. At the time I didn't connect it to chocolate, so I went to the doctor. He freaked out a bit and sent me to the specialist. I asked the specialist about food and all that, and he said, oh, it's nothing to do with diet, so you'll have to take drugs, or something to fix it. And if that doesn't work, there's things they can do, they can operate and things like that. Well, I wasn't falling for that one, so I had a good think about what was different in my diet. The only change I could come up with was the drinking chocolate, which is hard to believe because we are so brainwashed into believing that cocoa is good for you. I stopped the drinking chocolate and my heart palpitations slowly went away over the next 2 months. Milk chocolate seems to be okay for me, probably because there's not as much cocoa in it. So let's get back to you. One option is to buy protein cookies or protein bars, which are full of junk, or make your own protein cookies, which is a whole lot healthier and better for weight loss. The second option, and in my opinion, the one that works the best is allowing yourself a cheat day once a week. You see, if you say, I'm not eating anything sweet ever again, you are setting yourself up for failure. Sooner or later, you're going to weaken and snack on something. Then you are going to be disappointed with yourself. Next thing you know, you're staring into the pantry looking for something sweet to make yourself feel better. The cheat day is really just one cheat meal that you allow yourself each week. What you do is you eat 100% good all week and plan to have a meal off on the weekend or whichever day you choose. In that one sitting, you get to eat anything and everything you've been craving all week. By including the cheat meal into your nutrition plan, it takes the pressure off. So just saying you crave chocolate, instead of replacing it with a substitute that doesn't really do it for you, well, now you can have it. But the key here is that you control when you have it. Now you control food instead of food controlling you. Just make sure you do all your bad foods in one sitting. For instance, a couple of beers before dinner, spuds with your main meal, and ice cream for dessert. Now if you got that carried away after eating 100% all week, you'll probably make yourself sick and you'll probably be a bit more conservative next time. Here's why this works so good. So here is the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right through to Sunday. And the idea is to eat 100% all week. And then say on Saturday, have a day off. So say on Monday, someone at work has a birthday shower and they have bought cheesecake and crackers for everyone. You are left with two options. You can be super strong and say no thanks, or you can weaken and say, oh okay, just this once, I'll be good tomorrow. That's the mistake. Well, now you have a third option. You could say no thanks, but in your mind you're thinking, those cheese and crackers look good. I'm going to have some of those on my next cheap meal. Then on Thursday you're at a cafe with a friend and they buy you a donut without asking you if you want one. You could say no to the donut, doggy bag it, stash it in the fridge and save it for your cheat meal. In both those scenarios you have taken control. You haven't denied yourself a perceived pleasure. Instead you are controlling when you get it. So let's just say you eat good all week and on Saturday you eat your junk. Those extra carbs are going to raise your blood sugar, insulin will be released, and those sugar calories will be sent to your muscles. Now normally the muscles will say, no thanks, we're full up. Send that extra fuel off to the fat stores and save it up for the famine. But that's not what's going to happen this time. You've been holding back on high calorie carbs all week. The glycogen stores in your muscles are getting a bit low. So now the muscles say, yes please, we'll take the lot. We need to refuel so we can run from the saber-toothed tiger. Every gram of glycogen you store in your muscles and liver takes up to 4 grams of water with it. Every litre of water weighs a kilo, so next day you're going to weigh heavier. But it won't be fat weight, it's energy weight. On Sunday you're going to get back on track again, but you're not going to lose any fat that day either. You'll have to be 100% all day so that the muscles get a little depleted in glycogen again, so that your body is back to the fat burning zone again on Monday. So once a week you can get away with a meal off as long as you are good all week. In contrast, here is what happens if you have 3 small cheat meals each week. Monday you had cheese and crackers, so no fat loss that day. None that day either, because you need to deplete the muscles again. Wednesday, you're back into fat burning. On Thursday, you gave in to the donut. So no fat loss that day, or the day after. Now Saturday, of course you had a day off as well, and there's no fat burning Sunday. So you ended up only having 1 fat loss day from 3 mistakes. It would be better if you took that mistake there and had it on that day, took that mistake there, had it in there, and had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of fat loss. Saturday was going to be your cheat day, and Sunday to get back into fat burning mode for Monday again. The cheat meal has so many extra calories in one go that you just can't process it all, and some of it will just go straight through your system. You can't get fat on one cheat meal a week. Another mistake people make when they decide to lose weight is they don't make it a priority. You can't just say, okay, I'll add some exercise in here and there at some time when it suits me or when I have the time. Or I can't be bothered planning and organising meals, so I'll just try and eat better when I can. You have to actually make it a priority. You need to say, I'm going to do Body Buzz then, and I'm going to wait until I get hungry before I eat. And I will have meals planned and ready to eat, otherwise I'm going to be stuck with the bad choices. You have to learn new habits. If you decide to go somewhere for the day and you know there will be nothing good to eat there, you might have to make your lunch and take it with you in a chili bin. When you decide losing weight is a priority, you can't use the excuses you had before. It seems like a hassle to start with, but soon it becomes a habit. And it's those new patterns of behaviour that keep you in shape for the rest of your life. So focus on what you want rather than what you imagine you are missing out on. Make your salads more exciting. Use a mesclun salad and add herbs like parsley and coriander. Add grated carrots, beetroot or radish, sprinkle sprouts and roasted garlic seeds all over it. Use a tasty vinaigrette like this Cuisine Scene. These products are handmade in the Waikato. Natural ingredients, no artificial colours or flavours, no preservatives and no gluten. I never used to be a salad eater, but now it's something I really look forward to. So just to sum up this video, wait until you get hungry before you eat, plan your meals and have them ready to eat so you aren't tempted by junk food. Make your meals delicious and filling so that it is something you look forward to. Snacking between meals slows fat loss, even if it hasn't got sugar or flour in it. If you need something sweet or savoury, watch out for the hidden sugars and commercial products. It's better to make your own, such as these, I don't know if you see them alright, these fat bombs. So this is full of extra virgin coconut oil, some sea salt butter and salted nuts. Getting in shape is faster and easier if you go 100% all week. Include a cheat meal each week if you think that suits you. Whether you use it or not is entirely up to you on the day.